Marriage is a mystery for many people. People think it is just about love, companionship, children, or building a home together. But behind closed doors, in the silence of the night, in the private walls of the bedroom, truths are revealed that the world outside never gets to see. The realities of sex, the struggles of intimacy, the secrets that spouses hide, and the painful scars of betrayal, these are not openly discussed in society. Yet they are the very foundation of why so many marriages succeed or collapse. You see, when two people come together, they don't just bring their bodies, they bring their histories, their traumas, their unspoken desires, their insecurities, and their expectations. And the bedroom becomes the stage where all of this plays out. For some, the bedroom is a place of healing, where love is affirmed and intimacy is nurtured. For others, it becomes a battlefield of rejection, shame, and unmet needs. Sex in marriage is not just physical, it is psychological, emotional, and deeply spiritual. If a man and woman do not understand each other's needs, if they are too shy or too arrogant to communicate, then resentment begins to grow. A wife who feels unloved outside the bedroom will not give herself fully inside the bedroom. A husband who feels disrespected will withhold his affection. And what happens? Silence creeps in, walls are built, and slowly, without even realizing it, they drift apart. Cheating often begins long before the act itself. It starts in the mind. It begins when one spouse feels ignored, neglected, or unseen. A woman may dress beautifully, hoping her husband notices, but if his eyes are always on his phone or on other women, a wound forms in her heart. A man may crave admiration, but if his wife constantly compares him to others, he feels small. That hunger, that emptiness, makes people look elsewhere, not always because they don't love their spouse, but because they feel starved of connection. The hidden truth of marriage is that cheating is rarely about sex alone. It is about unmet emotional needs. It is about validation, attention, and intimacy. Many husbands cheat with women who make them feel respected, admired, or powerful. Many wives cheat with men who listen to them, understand them, and make them feel beautiful. And so marriages break not because of the physical act of betrayal, but because of years of emotional starvation. But let's be honest, society is full of hypocrisy. People judge those who cheat, yet they don't teach the importance of communication, trust, and sexual compatibility. They glorify weddings with music, rituals, and photos, but they don't prepare young men and women for what marriage truly requires. They don't tell couples that sex is not a dirty word, that desire is not shameful, and that the bedroom is not just about pleasure, but about bonding souls. Another truth is that many marriages suffer because people carry shame into the bedroom. They are too embarrassed to express what they like, what they dislike, what makes them feel alive. Some women pretend to be satisfied, some men hide their struggles, and in the silence of pretending, the relationship suffers. Real intimacy requires courage, courage to say what you want, courage to ask what your partner needs, courage to expose your vulnerabilities. And let's not forget the poison of comparisons. A husband comparing his wife to women he sees online, a wife comparing her husband to wealthy or romantic men in dramas. These comparisons kill gratitude. They create silent dissatisfaction. And when dissatisfaction grows, temptation enters. You cannot water your garden if you are always looking at your neighbor's lawn. The secret to loyalty is not in being the most beautiful or the most handsome, but in being deeply connected, deeply committed, and deeply grateful for the person you chose. Now, about bedroom secrets, let's talk about them honestly. Many couples face struggles but never speak about them. Low desire, health issues, mismatched libidos, boredom, or even trauma from the past. These are real issues, but instead of addressing them, couples stay silent, pretend everything is fine, or secretly resent each other. Some even look for satisfaction outside rather than fixing what is broken inside. If couples learn to talk openly, to approach these issues as partners rather than opponents, most marriages could be saved. A marriage without intimacy is like a body without a heartbeat. You may survive on paper, you may stay together for children or for society, but inside you will feel dead. Intimacy is the oxygen of marriage. It keeps love alive. It makes two people feel like one. And if intimacy is broken, everything else begins to crumble. But here is the hardest truth. Not everyone cheats physically, but many cheat emotionally. Secret messages, late night chats, hidden friendships, unspoken fantasies, these are forms of betrayal too. Sometimes emotional cheating hurts more than physical cheating because it means the heart has already left. A spouse may forgive a physical mistake, but emotional abandonment leaves scars that never heal. So, how can couples protect their marriage from these dangers? The answer is not controlling your partner, checking their phone, or suffocating them with suspicion. The answer is becoming so connected, so fulfilled, and so bonded that no outsider can enter the sacred space between you. That requires honesty, vulnerability, forgiveness, and intentional effort. People think love is enough, but love is just the seed. Trust, respect, communication, and intimacy are the water and sunlight that make it grow. Without them, the seed dies no matter how beautiful it once looked. The hidden truth of marriage is that most couples don't fall out of love. They stop feeding love. They stop being curious about each other. They stop making effort in the bedroom. They stop listening to each other's silent cries. And then slowly they become strangers living under the same roof. Marriage is not about finding the perfect person. It is about choosing someone and then building perfection through patience, sacrifice, and desire. It is about fighting temptations together, facing weaknesses together, and turning the bedroom into a sanctuary, not a battlefield. It is about keeping secrets safe, not hiding secrets that destroy trust. And yes, marriage demands maturity. If your definition of loyalty is just not sleeping with someone else, then you have misunderstood it completely. Loyalty means protecting your partner's heart, guarding their dignity, and being present with your body, your mind, and your soul. When people hide truths in marriage, when they carry secrets, when they cheat, whether emotionally or physically, the damage is not just between two people. It affects children, families, and generations. Broken trust creates broken homes, and broken homes create broken souls. That is why the real work of marriage begins when the music stops, when the guests leave, when the photos fade. The real work begins in the privacy of the bedroom, in the conversations nobody else hears, in the choices nobody else sees. So remember, sex is not just an act, it is a language. The bedroom is not just a room, it is a mirror of your relationship. Cheating is not just betrayal, it is a symptom of deeper wounds. And marriage is not just a contract, it is a covenant, a sacred bond that demands truth, loyalty, and intimacy. And when you look around today, you will notice that many people are married, but very few are truly connected. They eat together, they share a roof, they sleep on the same bed, yet inside they feel completely alone. This loneliness inside marriage is more painful than being single because you are not just alone, you are unseen in the very place you should feel most cherished. That is why many people walk into affairs. Not because they are bad human beings, but because they are starving for something they once hoped marriage would give them: attention, touch, validation, excitement. When we ignore intimacy, we make space for secrecy. When we ignore communication, we make space for misunderstanding. And when we ignore each other's emotional world, we make space for betrayal. Every secret in marriage has weight. A husband hiding his frustrations, a wife hiding her sadness, one partner hiding their desires. It all piles up. Slowly, these secrets build walls between two people who were once inseparable. Sometimes the most dangerous cheating is not physical or emotional, but spiritual. It happens when a husband no longer prays for his wife's happiness, when a wife no longer wishes well for her husband's success. When your heart disconnects from your partner, when you stop seeing their growth as part of your own, the bond weakens in ways that cannot be seen but can always be felt. Sex, when done with love, becomes the most powerful healing medicine in marriage. It heals insecurities, it removes doubts, it builds trust. But when sex is used as a weapon, either by withholding it or by using it without care, it becomes destructive. Many women complain of husbands who treat sex as a duty or demand, without emotional connection. Many men complain of wives who refuse intimacy as punishment or control. Both are forms of emotional violence. The truth is, sex without love feels empty, and love without sex feels incomplete. But here is what most people don't realize. Intimacy begins long before the bedroom. It starts with the way you speak to each other in the morning, the way you appreciate small efforts, the way you touch your spouse's hand when they feel stressed, the way you look at them like they are the only person in the room. When you build this emotional intimacy outside the bedroom, the physical intimacy inside the bedroom flows naturally. Jealousy and suspicion are other silent killers. Some men want to control every move of their wives. Some women want to check every detail of their husbands' lives. But suspicion does not create loyalty, it creates distance. Loyalty cannot be forced, it must be inspired. If your partner feels respected, admired, and desired, they will protect your heart without you even asking. Marriage also requires freshness. Too many couples stop dating each other after marriage. They stop making effort in their appearance. They stop surprising each other. They stop exploring new experiences together. Slowly, routine takes over passion, but passion is like fire. It must be fed. Small gestures, thoughtful surprises, playful energy, and keeping curiosity alive. These are not luxuries. They are necessities if you want your marriage to stay alive. And when betrayal does happen, when cheating breaks the trust, the road ahead is painful. Some couples never recover, others rebuild stronger than ever. The difference lies in whether both partners are willing to face the truth, whether they are willing to dig into the root cause of the betrayal, whether they are willing to rebuild honesty brick by brick. Forgiveness in marriage is not weakness. It is a choice to value the bond above the mistake. But forgiveness without change is meaningless. So many people suffer in silence because society has told them that talking about sex, about desires, about dissatisfaction is shameful. And so they pretend, but pretending kills slowly. It is better to have one uncomfortable conversation than to live a lifetime of unfulfilled nights. True strength in marriage is when two people can say, "This is what I feel, this is what I need, this is how we can grow together." The real secret of long lasting marriages is not avoiding problems, but confronting them with love. It is not about being perfect, but about being real. It is not about never feeling tempted, but about choosing loyalty every single time, even when temptation knocks. And it is not about hiding your truths, but about sharing them in a way that builds deeper trust. Every couple begins their journey with fire, with passion, with dreams of forever. In the early days, even the smallest gestures feel like grand expressions of love. A text message, a smile, a simple touch of the hand, it feels electric. But as months turn into years, as responsibilities grow heavier, as children, finances, and family pressures come into the picture, that fire can begin to dim. Not because the love is gone, but because the effort is gone. People forget that love is not something that stays alive automatically. It must be fed daily, nourished consistently, and protected fiercely. Think about it. If you buy the most beautiful plant and then leave it without sunlight, without water, what will happen? Slowly, the leaves dry, the color fades, and one day you look and realize it is lifeless. Marriage is the same. Neglect kills faster than hatred. Some couples don't fight, they don't scream, they don't even argue. They simply stop noticing each other, stop touching each other, stop laughing together. And in that silence, the relationship dies quietly without anyone even realizing when the heartbeat stopped. Sex is one of the most powerful forms of connection, yet also one of the most common weapons in marriage. Some husbands demand it as a right, forgetting that intimacy cannot be forced, it must be inspired. Some wives withhold it as punishment, forgetting that intimacy cannot be used as leverage, it must be shared as love. Both forget that sex is not just about pleasure, it is about affirmation. It is the body's way of saying, I see you, I want you, I choose you. When that affirmation is missing, temptation becomes louder. A man who feels rejected in his own home becomes vulnerable to the smallest flirtation outside. A woman who feels unseen by her husband becomes vulnerable to the first man who listens to her with genuine interest. This is why cheating is not about the body first. It is about the emotions, the hunger of the soul, the wounds of the heart. But let's pause for a moment. Why is it so difficult for couples to talk about their needs? Why do so many men feel embarrassed to admit they struggle with performance anxiety? Why do so many women feel ashamed to express what truly pleases them? The answer lies in the culture of silence we were raised in. From a young age, most of us were told that sex is dirty, that desire is sinful, that speaking about intimacy is shameless. And so we enter marriage with confusion, with fear, with unrealistic expectations. We expect love to magically solve everything, but love without knowledge becomes frustration. And then comes the comparison trap. Social media has poisoned countless marriages. A man sees unrealistic beauty standards online and begins to devalue his wife. A woman sees fake romantic gestures in dramas and begins to devalue her husband. What people don't realize is that comparisons are invisible daggers. You may not say anything, but your energy changes. Your partner can feel when you no longer admire them, when your eyes are elsewhere, when your appreciation has faded. And that silent disappointment is more dangerous than spoken criticism. The truth is, the greatest secret to keeping desire alive in marriage is gratitude. When you are grateful for what you have, when you see your spouse not as an option, but as a blessing, your desire for them deepens. Gratitude creates attraction, but entitlement, complaints, and constant comparisons kill attraction. You cannot water your marriage while staring at another person's garden. Another hidden truth is boredom. Many couples don't cheat because they are unhappy. They cheat because they are bored. The routine of life makes them forget the excitement of discovery. In the beginning, they asked questions, they shared dreams, they explored each other's minds. But now, they only discuss bills, responsibilities, and problems. They forget that curiosity is the oxygen of passion. If you stop being curious about your partner, if you stop exploring their inner world, you will eventually feel like strangers. This is why some affairs feel intoxicating, because in those moments, people feel alive again. Someone is listening, someone is noticing, someone is exploring them. But what they don't realize is that the same excitement could exist in their marriage if they had not stopped being curious. Affairs are not proof that your partner is more attractive to someone else. They are proof that you stopped making your partner feel attractive yourself. And here comes another painful truth. Most people are more honest with strangers than with their own spouses. A man may tell his coworker about his struggles, but never share them with his wife. A woman may tell her friend about her desires, but never share them with her husband. Why? Because they fear judgment at home. They fear rejection in the bedroom. They fear that being vulnerable will make them look weak. Yet this secrecy is what kills trust. Your spouse should be the safest place for your secrets. But when your secrets feel safer elsewhere, the marriage is already bleeding. Think about the way relationships begin. In the early days, two people are explorers. Every word feels precious, every glance feels magnetic, every meeting feels like an adventure. But with time, routine replaces curiosity, and people forget that marriage is not the end of discovery. It is the beginning of a lifetime of exploration. The hidden tragedy of many marriages is not hatred, not betrayal, not even abuse. It is boredom. Silent, invisible boredom that creeps into the heart when people stop trying. Boredom is dangerous because it does not scream, it whispers. A husband comes home, sits silently, scrolls on his phone. A wife prepares dinner, distracted, waiting for the day to end. They share space but not presence, and in that absence of presence, the soul begins to crave stimulation elsewhere, sometimes in unhealthy ways, sometimes in destructive ways. Why do people cheat? Many think it is because of beauty, because of lust, because of opportunity, but more often it is because of neglect. Neglect is the slow poison of relationships. When you stop complimenting your spouse, someone else's compliment feels like water to a thirsty soul. When you stop listening, someone else's attention feels irresistible. When you stop touching, even the smallest accidental touch from another feels electric. It is not always about looking for better, it is about looking for more. More attention, more care, more validation. And this is why intimacy must be guarded like treasure. You see, intimacy is not just sex, it is every moment of closeness. It is when your wife leans her head on your shoulder and you let her rest there without rushing. It is when your husband looks tired and instead of judging, you rub his back. It is the small kiss before leaving home, the hand you hold in public, the eye contact you maintain when they are speaking. All of these small acts are threads. And when those threads are woven together daily, they create a rope so strong that no outsider can break it. But when you neglect them, when you forget the small things, the rope weakens thread by thread until one day it snaps completely. There are secrets in every marriage. Some are harmless, surprises, private thoughts, small insecurities, but some secrets are toxic. Hiding financial problems, hiding emotional connections, hiding online conversations, hiding physical betrayals. These secrets rot the foundation of trust. The irony is that most people hide because they fear hurting their spouse, but the hiding itself causes more damage than the truth ever could. It is not the mistake that destroys most marriages, it is the lie. And let's talk honestly about sex. Too many couples treat it as a routine, a duty, a mechanical act. But sex is not about frequency, it is about connection. You can have sex every day and still feel empty, or you can have it less often but feel deeply satisfied because the connection was real. True intimacy is when both people feel seen, valued, and desired, and that requires communication. Yet, communication about sex is still taboo. Wives remain silent, husbands remain frustrated, and both keep pretending. But pretense is a silent killer. It kills slowly, quietly, until one day you wake up next to a stranger. And performance pressure, this is another hidden wound. Men are told their masculinity depends on their performance. Women are told their worth depends on their beauty. So both walk into the bedroom with fear. The man fears failing, the woman fears not being enough. Fear replaces freedom, anxiety replaces passion. And in that state, how can intimacy ever blossom? The truth is, the most attractive thing in the bedroom is not the perfect body, not flawless performance. It is confidence, comfort, and presence. When two people can be vulnerable without judgment, that is when sex becomes healing, not just physical. Cheating is not always physical. Let's expose the hidden forms of betrayal. Late night texting someone in secrecy, sharing personal details with a friend of the opposite gender that you never share with your spouse, fantasizing about someone else while being intimate. All of these are betrayals. They may not leave physical evidence, but they leave emotional scars. Many people underestimate emotional cheating, but in reality, it often hurts more. A wife may forgive her husband for a physical mistake if his heart still belongs to her. But if his heart has already left, if his soul is invested elsewhere, no apology can heal that wound. Now, let's address an uncomfortable truth. Some people cheat even in happy marriages. Why? Because cheating is not always about what is missing in the relationship. Sometimes it is about what is missing inside the person. Insecurity, greed, addiction to excitement, immaturity, these can drive people to betray even when they have loving, loyal partners. And that is why healing requires not only fixing the marriage, but also fixing the self. You see, loyalty is not a test of your partner's beauty or perfection. Loyalty is a reflection of your own character. Cheating says more about the cheater than the cheated. If you cannot control your desires, if you cannot honor your promises, if you cannot protect your partner's dignity, then the weakness lies within you, not in your spouse. Too often, cheaters blame their partners. She didn't give me enough. He didn't make me feel wanted. But in reality, betrayal is always a choice. Temptation is natural, but betrayal is chosen. And every choice has a price. What most people don't realize is that cheating doesn't just hurt your spouse, it hurts you. It damages your integrity, it steals your peace, it creates paranoia. You start living in fear of being exposed, in guilt of what you did, in shame of who you became. The short-term thrill leads to long-term torment, and no secret stays hidden forever. Sooner or later, the truth surfaces. And when it does, the cost is heavier than any pleasure could ever justify. But let us step into the other side, the pain of being betrayed. Few pains are as deep as discovering that the person you trusted most chose someone else, even for a moment. It shatters your confidence, makes you question your worth, destroys your sense of security. Betrayal doesn't just break hearts, it breaks identities. A betrayed wife doesn't just cry for the act, she cries for every "I love you" that now feels like a lie. A betrayed husband doesn't just rage at the affair, he rages at every moment he thought he was enough. The wounds of betrayal bleed for years, sometimes forever. And here is the hidden layer: betrayal is not just physical or emotional, neglect is betrayal, disrespect is betrayal. Indifference is betrayal. When a husband stops caring for his wife's needs, when a wife mocks her husband in front of others, when either partner treats the other as if they are invisible, that too is betrayal. You don't have to cheat to break a marriage. You can break it with silence, with arrogance, with neglect. This is why intimacy is not optional, it is essential. Intimacy is not just for pleasure, it is for survival. A marriage without intimacy is like a body without oxygen. You may walk, you may talk, but inside you are suffocating. People who downplay intimacy don't realize its power. It is through intimacy that trust is reinforced, that wounds are healed, that love is renewed. And when intimacy is gone, suspicion grows, distance grows, resentment grows. At the end of the day, what destroys most marriages is not a single act, not a single night, not a single mistake. It is years of silence, years of pretending, years of neglecting the very things that keep love alive. People think marriage collapses suddenly, like a building struck by an earthquake. But in reality, it collapses slowly, like a house eaten away by termites. Small lies, small betrayals, small acts of indifference. Over time, they hollow out the foundation until one day everything crumbles. So the final question we must ask ourselves is this: What kind of partner do I choose to be? Because marriage is not about waiting for the other person to change. It is about taking responsibility for the energy you bring. If you bring resentment, you will create distance. If you bring gratitude, you will create closeness. If you bring honesty, you will create trust. If you bring selfishness, you will create wounds. Every day, with every word, with every choice, you are either building your marriage or breaking it. And let's not lie to ourselves. Sex matters, intimacy matters, desire matters. You cannot ignore these truths and expect your marriage to survive. Too many couples think loyalty means only not sleeping with someone else. No. Loyalty means more than that. Loyalty means showing up with your body, your heart, your soul, your attention. Loyalty means protecting your spouse's heart from hunger, protecting their dignity from shame, protecting their needs from neglect. If you starve your partner of intimacy, don't be surprised when temptation whispers in their ear. But let's go deeper. Why do we fear intimacy? Why do we avoid communication? Because intimacy is exposure. It means showing your weaknesses, admitting your fears, confessing your desires. And many people are terrified of being that naked emotionally. So instead, they wear masks. They pretend. They laugh when they want to cry. They stay silent when they want to scream. They say, I'm fine when they are breaking inside. And little by little, the marriage suffocates. The strong message here is simple but painful. You cannot build a sacred bond on lies and silence. If you want a marriage that lasts, you must have the courage to be real, even if it means awkward conversations, even if it means tears, even if it means conflict. Because real love is not afraid of truth. In fact, love dies without truth. Now think about cheating one more time. Every cheater believes their secret will stay hidden. Every cheater convinces themselves that what their spouse doesn't know won't hurt them. But here is the truth. Secrets carry energy. Even if your spouse doesn't know the details, they will feel the distance. They will feel the coldness in your touch, the absence in your eyes, the guilt in your silence. Energy cannot be hidden. And sooner or later, truth always surfaces. Cheating may give you a moment of thrill, but it will take years of peace from your life. And for those who have been betrayed, hear this. Your worth is not defined by someone else's disloyalty. Their choice to betray is a reflection of their weakness, not your inadequacy. You are not unlovable because someone failed to love you correctly. You are not unattractive because someone got distracted by others. You are not broken because someone else was careless with your heart. Their betrayal is their shame, not your identity. And if you can rise above it, if you can heal, if you can rebuild, then you become stronger than any wound could ever make you. The truth is, marriage is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is not about never falling. It is about always choosing to rise together. It is not about avoiding temptation. It is about choosing loyalty even when temptation is strong. It is not about always feeling in love. It is about choosing love even on days when feelings are weak. That is the real strength of marriage, not the butterflies, not the fireworks, but the choice every single day to stay, to grow, to fight for the bond you created. So let this be the final reminder. If you want passion, create it. If you want respect, give it. If you want loyalty, embody it. If you want love, nurture it. Marriage is not magic. It is effort. And the greatest secret is this: the marriage you dream of will not appear by chance, it will appear by choice. Your choice to water it daily, to protect it fiercely, to heal it courageously, and to love it unconditionally.